Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And with the new box comes new FTKs. Once again, we have a brand new FTK to show you on this channel. It's a lot of fun. I think it's going to be pretty decent. It is not nearly as consistent as the last FTK I showed you, but it's cheap, it's effective, and I think you guys will really have fun playing the deck. So here we go. The deck revolves around the new Dark Magician skill, Bane of Darkness. You can normal summon Dark Magician without tributing, and during the turn that you normal summon Dark Magician, you can add one Polymerization and one Diffusion Wave Motion from outside your deck to your hand. Now, neither of those cards can be played on turn 1. However, they are two cards in your hand for the purposes of determining whether you can use Into the Void, because Into the Void requires that you have 3 cards in your hand, and they're also discard fodder for Dark World Dealings. So these two cards allow you to get additional advantage out of the other cards in your deck. Basically makes it a little bit better than any of the other skills that Dark Magician can use to do this FTK, so it's pretty good. The main card in our deck is Dark Eradicator Warlock. Tribute Dark Magician to special summon it. Each time a normal spell card is activated, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. So you can get Effect Veilered, but other than Effect Veiler, there's not really a way for your opponent to stop this when you're going first. And Ghost Mourner. But otherwise, the card is just going to constantly burn your opponent every time you activate a normal spell card, which is fantastic. We're playing Ankama Frite. No extra deck, but we can use Ankama Frite to draw a card and destroy itself. Pretty decent option. Just basically gives us extra draw power, and it's also a card that we can discard if we have to. Brow Huntsman of Dark World. This is a rare, so it's not super expensive, but you might not have this card. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, draw 1 card. So essentially, this card is very good for discarding for Dark World Dealings, because it turns Dark World Dealings into a +1. Pretty nice. However, it's important to note that you can also discard this card with your Allure of Darkness. So it's a dark monster that you can use to banish for Allure of Darkness. Basically, we couldn't run Allure if we weren't playing this card, so good card. 3 copies of Dark Magician, of course. For the spells, we are playing Swords of Revealing Light. This should be a 3rd copy of Dark World Dealings. I'm waiting on basically 18 box chips to get my 3rd copy of Dark World Dealings. If you have 3 copies of Dark World Dealings, the deck will be better. So just play 3 copies of Dark World Dealings if you have them. I'm playing Swords because it's funny. Allure of Darkness. Draw 2 cards, then banish 1 dark monster from your hand. If you don't have any dark monsters in your hand, send your entire hand to the graveyard. Make sure you have a dark monster in your hand. Summoner's Art. Draw Dark Magician. Excellent card to start your turn, and if you still have cards afterwards, it's 1,000 damage each time you use it. Dark World Dealings. Draw a card, discard a card. Now, the important thing about this card is that it requires your opponent to discard a card as well, which means if your opponent wants to be rude, they can basically stall out on the discard and prevent your FTK from resolving, but in that case, they're still surrendering, so it doesn't matter. And then lastly, Into the Void. If you have 3 or more cards in your hand, draw 1 card, and if you do, discard your hand at the end of the turn. Okay, simple enough. You summon your Dark Eradicator Warlock, you play the rest of your deck, you kill your opponent. Let's take a look at the replay. Alright, so we're going first against Spirit Grass Zombies. And we don't have any good cards in our hand, we just have the Dark Magician, but we're going to activate Ankama Frite to start with. Pop the Ankama Frite, and we drew our Dark Eradicator Warlock. Nice. Normal summon the Dark Magician and use the skill. Add 2 new cards to our hand. Then we're going to special summon the Dark Eradicator Warlock and activate the Allure. We draw Brow Huntsman of Dark World and Dark World Dealings. Fantastic. We'll banish 1 Brow and use the other for Dark World Dealings. Our opponent takes 1,000 from us activating Allure. Dark World Dealings, draw a card, discard the Brow. Now we get to draw another card. Our opponent discards Dark Necrofear, and the Eradicator Warlock burns our opponent for 1,000. Then we activate another Dark World Dealings, draw a discard. Dark Eradicator Warlock hits us for 1,000. Activate Swords of Revealing Light for a lethal. And there you go. There's the FTK. My name is Sarafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.